As you're dealing with your customers, it's always a good idea to keep track of the last touch or the last time you had any kind of interaction with that particular customer. Now I'm looking at a view of several customers here, and this view is real simple. It's focused basically on the idea of seeing exactly what was the last thing we did. So here, Jeff Billows, I can look at all the notes, and these are time coded, so in chronological order I can see exactly what the notes are. And here, if I look back over here, I see my last update date, and then right here I have a column called text. So I'm going to show you back over here, if I look at Jeff Billows, but still it says stale news. So let's look at Jeff Billows. Let me show you why we call it stale news. One way to keep track of the recent activity is to create a custom field and then go ahead and update it with any kind of new information that you might have. So here's some stale news here. I want to say newest news, and I can update this. So that's all well and good, except my old news gets lost. Let me show you another way though down here. If I'm looking at the notes, I can see a sequence of events, the appointments, the calls, and here are some notes. And also I can add a new note right here in the notepad, and I simply say new information to work on. I'll go ahead and add this. So now I have a running chronological history of new information that's associated with this contact record. And again, just because I updated this, if I go back in here and I look at Jeff Billows, I can see that recent note that's just been added to this list here, new information to work on, and it gives me the time tag and so forth, whereas the text field just says newest notes. All well and good depending upon your particular need, just so long as you know both ways. Now let's import information and see how we might import one, this text field, but also a new note to add. So the example might be that we're having a seminar and we just have a laptop there. We capture all the information in a spreadsheet at the seminar, their responses, anything like that, callback information, and we'll go ahead and post that back inside the application by importing that information from the spreadsheet. Now here's the spreadsheet right here. So I have the full name of the contact, Carlos Santi for one, Cheryl Conway. We'll give me looking at Jeff Billows in particular. If I look over here, I have to break this out so that I can make sure that I've got the first name, the last name, all that information. Now if I scoot over here just a little bit, you'll see here's my note. So I want to associate this note with a timestamp, and I want to put it in my note file. And also I showed you the custom field. We'll call this field text right here, and that custom field is going to be populated with new news, but only the last update. So we'll be populating all of those fields in these records as we do the import. So I want to go ahead and finish that import, and then we can take a look at what that looks like. So here I've selected my file, and here I want to create a mapping from all of the file fields back into the database. So that's pretty obvious. I think you've done that before. Here's the contact name. You can see that engraved down there, but that'll be what's imported. First name, last name. And here I want to show you this very important aspect. Here's the title. That is the whole context of the note right here. So I add that in as a column, and then I want to show you back over here. I say, here's my custom field text, new news, but only the last update. So we'll show you how that in fact does update the last field. So now we'll go ahead and complete the import by clicking here to submit. Now when I go back and I look at the view of all of my contacts, I start to see it here in the notes column, a chronological history of all the activity around the particular contact. And then here's the single text field. Again, that text field will just be supplanted or written over by the new information that's added by the import. Here, if I look at a particular contact here, I'll see just that. I'll see that there's the new news, but only has the last update. So that's what actually was in the text file that we imported. So the old information will be written over. As I go down here, though, I'm starting to develop a real nice chronological history of all of the notes that are time-stamped and then by whom that relate to different notes, also calls, appointments, and you can click right here and see exactly what there are. Appointments, tasks, notes, calls, and inbound calls. So all that information creates a nice chronological history of what's going on with that contact. But again, these are your choices. You can choose to use the notepad, or you can have a contact field here. That's a custom field where you put that last touch. And sometimes that's handy to do as well. We've often have set up a situation where we have a date field. For example, here's a start date. You might want to just update that date field as an indication of the last time that you had significant contact with the particular customer in question. So a lot of different ways to track activity around contacts in EB Suite.